Well, we're back.
We're here. We're live. We're back.
It's. Well, how's it go? It's hip. It's now. It's wow and how.
It's wow. Yes, it is. We got a lot of great stuff from the Bad Batch, and we have the Acolyte trailer, which is 2 weeks old now. But we always do our Star Wars. We go back and forth between Star Wars and T, and our schedules are always mixed up now because I think what's it called? Yeah, because I think this week we have a double episode of the Bad Batch, which it would have been better to have Harvey's Hype this week, but then next week. But it doesn't matter because Michael Batiste, there's a lot of stuff to talk about too. The news keeps on rolling in. Actually, next week is CinemaCon, so that's gonna be even weird. Our whole schedule is flipped because CinemaCon's gonna have a lot of shit, but then we'll have to wait till the week after. We'll play it by ear. Anyways, I still think it was important to go live today because we had to talk about two meditative episodes of the Bad Batch here with season 3, episodes 8 and 9. Episode 8, we got some good meditation moments from Crosshair and Omega, followed by in episode 9, we got some great stuff between Omega and Asajj Ventress, who makes her new return after season 5 of the Clone Wars. Which was a fun debut for her. I mean, not fun debut, fun return for Asajj Ventress. How do you like these 2 episodes here?
I thought they're great. I especially like the Ventress one. But it's always fun to see Fennec. It's always nice to hear Ming-Na Wen return and do stuff.
I agree, man. I think the Fennec one was like fine for me, but I mostly took away the Omega Crosshair of it all. That was definitely the best part of the episode for me. And then I had fun with it. I always have fun with the Bad Batch. I always have fun with just how fun it is in terms of like the swamp craziness, like hijinks of it all. Like you always have to have your Bad Batch missions, and we definitely got that in episode 8.
They went to Florida.
Episode 9. They went to Florida. They went to your hometown. Did you see them filming the Bad Batch, Nathan?
That's such a layered fucking question because damn well it's animated, so it's like what the fuck? But also I'm like, these are gators.
I know they're basically like gators that Wrecker was just punching.
Yeah.
So that was all very funny and cool. But yeah, Ventress for me, there's a lot of like stuff, and especially having read Dark Disciple, which again, if you have not read Dark Disciple, they're like it was a scrapped arc of the Clone Wars between Asajj and Quinlan Vos that was supposed to be animated, but it couldn't make it in time because season 5, as everybody knows, was didn't abruptly, because season 5 had a great conclusion, but they decided not to continue with it at that time. Cartoon Network. So then we have like the Netflix stuff with the Yoda stuff and the Padme stuff. Anyways, Asajj Ventress was supposed to have an arc, didn't happen. They're like, let's make it into a book, and I think it's Christy Gordon took the script from the animated show straight from Filoni/George and made it into a compelling book. So yeah, a lot of the stuff that she wrote in Dark Disciple was not her own ideas. I mean, not to disparage her. I think there was a lot of interesting stuff that she inputted as well, obviously. Because you can't, go from a script to a book and not add your own thoughts and internal dialogue, etc. But yeah, I liked what she did with that book, and it really helped elevate Asajj's role in episode 9. But yeah, let's go through all this because we also want to talk about the Acolyte trailer, which was amazing. I showed that in front of my class 2 weeks ago, whenever that happened.
And they said,
basically,
what's happening to the kids?
What's happening? I mean, granted, the trailer wasn't like, oh my gosh, like
it's not the Infinity War trailer.
Yeah, I didn't show them the Infinity or the Star Trek. Even if they don't even like Star Trek, I bet if I showed them an 09 trailer, some of them would be.
Evan,
what?
I need to break it in your heart.
What?
Those kids, they're not gonna resonate like you and me.
Come on,
because they suck. Back in my day,
yeah, damn it.
Back in my day, I watched fake Spider-Man 4 trailers on YouTube. That's what I had
in 380p, whatever that was, 360.
Getting fucking slicing in footage from, was it The Strangers, that fucking Woody Harrelson serial killer movie?
For what?
So they were like splicing in footage from like a movie with Woody Harrelson, like fan casting of his Carnage, which is like crazy that actually happened.
Yeah, he was fan cast as Carnage for decades. It basically like I wouldn't say it's on the same realm as The Rock and Black Adam, but he kind of fan casted himself. And then, but I guess it's on the same line as like Doctor Strange and Benedict for ever since he was on, you know, the detective show, whatever it's called, Sherlock.
The detective show.
I liked Sherlock. It was cool. I stopped watching.
I love it.
You know, it was great.
Hop on my Voodoo. I own the whole thing.
You watched the whole thing?
I own the whole thing.
Oh, you owned the whole thing. Did you watch the whole thing? That's the question.
I did. I remember rewatching the first 3 seasons so often, and I don't have
really
the strongest memory of 4. Yeah.
Are they rewatchable?
Yeah. They're fun. And the fact that they're all like 80 minutes means it's just like 12 movies.
That's what makes it hard to rewatch for me. Like I only really rewatch stuff that's like 45 minutes to an hour tops per episode. Like I can rewatch Game of Thrones and stuff like that, but
well, I mean, you know, if you want to just like do a trilogy and then take a break, you can do it.
Good point. But yeah, getting back to the Bad Batch of it all, let's break down episode 8. I don't have the episode title, but it is the one with
Bad Territory.
Bad Territory. There we go. I didn't know what you were doing there with your hands. I didn't know if that was
breaking it down is what I'm doing.
Wow, great hand choreography there.
Pull on my Rubik's Cube. Fucking.
Are you good at that shit, Rubik's Cubes?
I'm a little rusty now, but I used to be able to solve it in under 3 minutes.
Under 3 minutes, nice.
Okay. It's no world record, but
not at all. But I'm proud of you. But better than me. I have no idea what I'm doing with my hands when I touch that thing.
I'd be taking that shit to school, and people would be like, "You ain't gonna get it," and then I get it. Oh shit!
You bring it just to taunt your friends. You getting that social credit.
Yeah, get that ego boost with my high anxiety.
Relatable. Still relatable. Anyways, back on Pabu. Episode 8 begins with the squad following up on what Rex suggested they do. Rex at the end was like, hey, this Rex or this Omega kid, I'm kidding, he already knew her, but he was basically like, the Emperor is coming after Omega, and we don't know why.
The Emperor's coming here?
Exactly. And basically they're like, okay, Rex is telling us we got to figure out why they want Omega so badly. Let's get into this metachlorian business. Let's ask around about these M counts. So Omega has to stay on Pabu. She doesn't really like it. I think her little lesson for this episode 8, is her learning to, similar to Crosshair. It's a different lesson from Crosshair, but she's going through her own problems in terms of like learning to sit down, breathe. I'll talk about this later, of course, in the later scene, but like, you know, not be active when the opportunity arises. Hard to describe it, but like, you don't need to be active all the time, even though it's kind of counter to Omega's prerogative in terms of always wanting to help, always wanting to be a part of the situation. She has to learn to like let the Bad Batch, you know, let them be the dads for once. You stay at home for just one day. Because, you know, this always happens where Hunter's like, hey, you should stay here. Omega's like, I don't want to. And he's like, okay, fine. He always like acquiesces, but this time he's like, you seriously stay here, but also look out for Crosshair because Crosshair's hand is fucking up, and you know, I'm looking out for him. So Omega's job is to look after Crosshair. Meanwhile, the Batch go to an awesome looking space station. Or first off, before that,
not quite Starlight Beacon, but it'll do.
It is, yeah, close to it. I forgot, but Fee is the one who kind of gives them that info. It says that Class 1 bounty hunters are going after M counts. Now, I heard Class 1 bounty hunters. I'm like, oh, okay. Are we going after, are we in for my boy, what's his name? With the blue-skinned bounty hunter.
Boba.
Cad Bane.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Boba might show up. You never know. He is the alpha.
Do we have time with Cat? How many episodes we got left?
Well, 6? This week we're going over 10 and 11, but I think there's 16.
Okay.
So we have episodes. We have time. We got time.
I got time.
So Omega stays on Pabu while Fee says Class 1 bounty hunters have the mem count. Yes. So they go to their best friend. They think of Class 1 bounty hunters and they think
Best
of
friend.
Fennec. Fennec, who lovingly cares so much about the Bad Batch. And this space station, again, was really cool looking, really cool design. I always love interesting space stations in Star Wars. I think one of my favorites in recent Disney years was in The Mandalorian season 2 or 3. I don't know. No, maybe it was in the fucking Mandalorian episode.
Book of Boba Fett, the fucking Halo ring.
The Halo ring from like a treasure planet.
Yeah, that was the Book of Boba Fett one. That was the Return of the Mandalorian.
That was how was that in the Mandalorian? That would never not baffle me. That was weird shit. I'm glad we're done with that crossover bullshit. But for now,
it's like the Euphoria special episode detachment.
Which were like those special episodes were 2 alone were better than probably all of season 2.
They're great, but it's like it is funny that like you can't just like binge the show. That like you got to go find those individually. They're not paired in.
They're not. Yeah, it's weird. But I remember watching those like with my dad, like because it was like over break or whatever. Like, oh, this is perfect timing. Anyways, so yeah, I like the space station. It's really cool. They get into like this grimy bar and they interrupt Fennec's briefing with another client, which is kind of rude. Which I couldn't be in the bounty hunter, or I could be in the bounty hunter business, but in the Star Wars world, people are just so rude when they get into bars. Like all etiquette is out the window when you walk into a bar in Star Wars.
At any point, some asshole come in like, the seat taken.
Exactly, right? Like, is this seat taken? Somebody's arm's getting cut off. Somebody's dying right behind you. You can be having a casual conversation, and 2 feet to the next to you, somebody gets their head cut off. You just got to go back to your drink. Couldn't be me.
No. I'd be like, right. I'd just be the one guy in the bar, like, yo, it's fucked up.
They're like, kick him out. He's talking.
You're next. Oh fuck.
You're like, ah.
That's what keeps you in line. Is like,
yeah,
ain't gonna be me, not today.
Exactly. He's like, I just want to go home. So yeah, they make a deal with her where we'll help you with the mission. She says she needs help with the mission, and in exchange, she'll get them info about what this midichlorian count, or I'm sorry, M count. They haven't used the word midichlorians yet. M count. I think at this point in the episode, she said, I'll get you info. They're like, okay, cool. But by the end of the episode, we realized, yeah, I said info. I didn't say I have it on me, that kind of thing. Anyways, their mission, track down this character named Siler Saris, who was a slayer of Ordo Eris, and he killed leaders of the Haxian Brood, which is straight from, 2 games I love, Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor.
Oh.
These were the bounty hunters that you get trapped in Star Wars Fallen Order. When Cal gets kidnapped when he's on Zepho. He gets kidnapped from Zepho, I think, and goes to this bounty hunter world where they kidnap him, and then he gets subsequently freed. But then they follow him later on in the game, and it follows us in Jedi Survivor, where we talk with the bounty hunter in the bar, and then we have to track down bounty hunters in Survivor, which I love, by the way. I like how we had to do the opposite. We track them down to them tracking down us in Survivor. If people have not played Jedi Survivor yet, great game. Loved it. Romantic as hell. Great time. I really recommend it. But anyways, yeah, the Haxian Brood again from Jedi Survivor and Fallen Order. So great, cool Fallen Order stuff tie-in.
There were so many times during when we were doing Jedi Survivor. So many times we were like, man, it'd be great if this happened. And then it did. We were like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, just like the middle segment with Cal and Mare is just peak Star Wars.
Under the moonlight.
Really, we were like, oh, they're gonna have a moonlight kiss and whatever, and I was like, oh wow, this is actually happening. And then we got stuck on Darth Vader versus his master for 2 hours.
Yeah, was it 30 tries?
I didn't even try that on hard. I should try that on harder difficulty. I bet.
I was just like, turn it down. You're like, I can't. If I do, he wins.
It's funny because I learned this when I'm playing Final Fantasy right now. When I go through a normal difficulty, when I'm fighting monsters for the first time, I'm like, this is so hard. But when I replay the game on the hardest difficulty, I realized like, oh wait, I'm stronger and I know what I'm in for, so it's easier. So I do wonder if I'll be better at the Darth Vader stuff now that I know what to do. Granted, it's been a year now, so I probably forget what to do. But anyways. So let's see here. we cut back to Crosshair. He goes to the doctor and it says, AZ says, hey, I can't help you. There's no physical degradation going on with your hand. Again, physically, which leads us to believe something mentally and inner is happening with Crosshair. And I loved this part. I love this. I love how Bad Batch consistently is really getting into the symbolism aspect of the show. And this has been happening since season 1. We've always been talking about this in terms of this and Mandalorian, how the Bad Batch go from place to place. And yes, it's mission of the week, but they also are able to heal the areas that they go to, whether in season 1, they're going to separatist worlds at times, Old Republic worlds and meeting people and then changing them, or just like changing themselves in terms of the whole Crosshair arc of season 1. And then in season 2, we learned how to basically care for Omega as she's growing up in this new environment and how to make her coincide with the team and the whole family aspect of season 2. I think I love the symbolism that is happening in the show. In season 3, as its final season, we're getting a lot of again, meditative and to steal from Kung Fu Panda, inner peace episodes here where Crosshair is really trying to get into some of the trauma. Now, we're just scratching the surface, so a lot of this is my interpretation. But, in the double episode we had previously, like episode 7 and 6, when he's fighting the, what's it called? The other assassin, before that, when he's interrogating the other assassin, he's like, hey, you're part of this program. Why don't you tell your friend what was really happening? He's like, hey, shut up. And I'm like, and granted, he admitted that, hey, they tried to get me into this program and I couldn't do it because I'm unique, I'm deficient, whatever it's called. But I think something deeper went down. I don't know if we're going to get some info about what really happened to Crosshair, if he'll speak about it. I think he'll speak about it. But most of all, I think he's going to heal and discuss and really reflect on what happened to him on Tantus. And I think it might be a good part of his growth for his character. Because the hand thing, of course, has to be resolved. And I'm thinking, how is it going to be resolved without him actually verbally saying, this is what happened to me? Kind of like, when you go, in shows or whatever, when you talk about the problem with others, it has a way of going away or at least helping. It's always best to talk to somebody.
Well, Evan, I think there's one clear path to overcoming this, and I think it's going to be a very hard approach, but it's probably going to be worth it in the long run. We're going to have to amputate.
We're amputating him? Are we rehearsing him?
Yes.
Costa's going to be like, Omega, cut off the hand. You have to cut the hand.
It's spreading. It's going to take over.
Halloween episode of the Bad Batch.
I think about that fucking worm episode. What the fuck? In the Clone Wars.
Oh, gross! In the Clone Wars, yeah, that was gnarly. Wasn't that?
I don't even think I properly watched that whole thing. I just saw images. I was like, "Fuck yeah!"
Was that Barriss and Ahsoka? I think was Barriss part of that episode.
Maybe. What was that, season 3?
Or it had to be earlier. Maybe it was season 3. Man, I forget that episode.
How low was the texture on the people's faces?
I don't think it was great. So it might have been season 2, which was the least. Season 1 and 2 had the least well-looked series.
Just a little better. 1 is stilted.
1 is bad. 1 is bad. I'm like, oh boy.
And you did the theatrical release on that one? All right.
Yeah,
they put a little more effort there, but
yeah,
you pop into the fucking Malevolent episodes, you're like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's
one of fucking action figure.
One of the episodes before the Malevolent arc, I'm just like, wow, this looks messy. Wow, that flight maneuver was not looking great.
Nobody's blinking.
Yeah, not great, buddy. And then season 3, episode 1 hits. You're like, you take a big breath. It's like, oh wow, these animation changes, the texture changes, and yeah, it's great.
I remember being at the Siege of Mandalore panel, screening at Celebration, and Dave came out at the end. He was like, well, of course I think these are the best ones. Look how good they look. How far we've come.
Look how far we've come.
How old you become.
Something far worse has happened to you.
I'll quote along. Fuck it. Let's keep going.
Keep going. Meanwhile,
the challenge, the game show challenge is start quoting back and forth the Star Wars movie, and the first to fuck up loses.
I would always lose that one because I would always know like one line, and they'd be like, and I'd be like,
You'd be like, that MCU quote, you fucking with
me? Probably. So yeah, but yeah, I love this Pabu stuff. So Omega teaches Crosshair. I think did I skip anything? Oh yeah, I skipped over them actually entering the swamp stuff, and I kind of sped through this in my notes. Like they go to the swamp land, they have to diffuse some minds. We get some awesome looking creatures. Again, creature designs on Star Wars. Whenever we get to a new world, it's always very fun. And yeah, so far they're just going against creatures and blasting the mind, etc. Fennec, I'll say that for later. But anyways, back on Pabu, Crosshair gets a lesson in calming things down, where Omega teaches him how to meditate, basically. I love this scene. First off, I was like, how does Omega know how to meditate? Where is this coming from? But then she immediately was talking to Crosshair and was like, I learned it from a Jedi friend, Gunji. I don't think she says his name, but either way, we know.
He does.
Okay, yeah, Gunji.
From Gunji on Kashyyyk. Remember?
Yeah.
It's like the asterisk box in a comic. Like, refer to issue 87.
Yeah, I love that. And it's funny that you brought that up though. Because I think Crosshair might be also dealing with like, I was away from my friends, and this is something that that might be another interesting development for Crosshair, where I think one of the other previous episodes he looks back on, they're like, oh, this happened to Omega. He's like, wait, what? Like, or I think they were like, oh, bounty hunters have tried to come capture Omega in the past, and he's kind of like, wait, they what? Like, he wasn't there during a lot of the ordeals that Omega has been through, of course, in season 1 and season 2. He was away working for the growing empire. So that part might be interesting as well. He was away from Omega for most of this series. And this is the first time that he's actually with her. So whenever he gets reflected upon things he was not here for, it might add to the trauma. Like, I wasn't here because I was working for the empire. And because I was working for the empire, it reminds me that, oh yeah, all this bad shit did happen to me on Tantus. It might be just a little mental issue that he's having here, where he's just like, I wasn't with my friend, and on top of that, I was getting affected by these, experiments or just bad experiences on Tantus. We saw him in episodes 1, 2, and 3 of the season, where he was kind of struggling with that whole Tantus life. He was just going straight back and forth to his cells. Omega will look at him, and he had this solemn expression on his face. So something went down with him on Tantus, and I'm very curious to see what happened. But I just love Omega teaching him how to meditate. Again, what I love about this scene specifically is that Omega is also learning from this. I brought it up at the beginning of the episode. Omega is learning how to calm down, breathe, not be in charge of every situation, while Crosshair is learning to take a breath and just reflect, and hopefully that'll heal his hand. And they're overlooking the sunset, and one of the Bad Batch's most beautiful scenes here, as they overlook the sunset, they're on the rocks, and it's just a beautiful shot. Like, I wanted to like freeze it and make it like my laptop screensaver or something. It was a beautiful white shot.
Oh yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, I love when they get to meditate and concentrate on like the symbolism of this show. This show has always been about healing, or family and healing. And in this case, they're kind of combined here, like DNA, in the sense that like family, it's hard to heal when you're not surrounded by family. Or I guess, some people don't have the luxury of being with family. But in this case, Crosshair is with, his newfound family again, and he's learning to heal as well at the same time. So I just love this. Again, reminds me of the trilogy we just watched in Kung Fu Panda, where it's best to heal and with people that have that knowledge as well. Like, Poe was training with, his master and the turtle. And I love the turtle scene in Kung Fu Panda 1. It kind of reminds me of that. Oogway, thank you. I had no idea what his name was. I think they said his name in Kung Fu Panda 4. And I'm just like, I know his name now because Nathan kept reminding me. And yeah, Oogway. And we get the Oogway and Poe scene in Kung Fu Panda 1, which I really liked. And it kind of reminded me of this one, where it's just like Omega, again, like she reminded us a couple episodes ago, she is older than them. So she is telling them how to properly meditate, how to properly heal. And Oogway was the same way. And Oogway was also learning from Po. So it was great. Combined experiences, combined healing there. I really liked. That was like the biggest part of this episode for me. Just like the show taking time to properly heal and address like character issues. We don't see this in a lot of good Star Wars, or we don't see this in a lot of Star Wars shows, or just shows in general. I don't want to like, compare and contrast shows all the time, but like I don't see this kind of stuff in The Mandalorian. Or in The Mandalorian, Favreau is putting forth a lot of interesting symbolism. The basic hero's journey, Joseph Campbell again. Yeah. Joseph Campbell stuff is prevalent throughout Mandalorian. Like, of course it is. The healing, the worlds, the colors. But I don't think he executes it via the dialogue. And that was a big case of season 3, where like the dialogue, the execution of said dialogue isn't, compounding upon the symbolism that you're trying to show in your show. Like, I can see what you're trying to do. It's just not visually appealing.
I think I said like way back in one of our reviews was like original Star Wars was like emulating so many inspirations of like Kurosawa, Flash Gordon, stuff like that. But Mando is emulating Star Wars, which is
great point.
Emulating an emulation.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that's like the best way we can put it. And then that's added to with Favreau always saying like, this is Toys My Play Box. Like, yeah, we can see that. And I think Ryan did the same thing, but Ryan's Ryan. But
well, Ryan is really like the Force ain't a superpower.
Exactly. Yeah, he kind of like I hate the word because people misused it all the time back in 2017, 2018. The deconstruction of it all. People are like, deconstruction! And, subversion. Ryan's always trying to subvert people. Like, no, he's not. Like, Ryan's like one of the most overt screenwriters in his movies. Like, Knives Out isn't trying to be this subtle movie outside of the mystery of it all. Last Jedi is one of the most overtly, like, this is what the movie's talking about.
Surprise, the struggling boy is struggling.
Right? It's like, come on. Kylo, you gotta learn to let go. Is The Last Jedi telling people that is Kylo right here? Like, no, he's the villain.
Let the past die is in the franchise itself. Shut the fuck up.
What? Like, what is Ryan trying to let the past die? Does he hate Star Wars? What are you talking? Anyways, 2017, 2018 was what? Hey, still here. It's still here. You're right. What am I even talking about?
It has flooded the algorithms, and I want to die.
And we'll talk about it when we get to the Acolyte of it all, because people are still continuing that agenda. As soon as Leslie was like, "I love Rian Johnson," you're like, "Oh, that makes sense given what I saw in the trailer." What did you see in the trailer? Anyways, I'm sorry.
What did you see? Women?
Yes, yeah, they did. Which is weird because they love Mon Mothma and Andor. So yeah. Anyways,
one, the only good thing Disney made, but not because of Kathy.
Not because of Kathy. No, she wasn't involved with that one. That was totally Gareth Edwards. Oh wait, I mean, Tony Gilroy. I'm kidding.
George came in, you see, and he ghost directed so much. It just said, "Hi everyone, we left
Star Wars, exactly." Anyways, the episode ends. I did like the fight sequence Fennec has and the squad has against the Siler guy. He had this interesting design, right?
He's like a praying mantis, which was featured in the OG Mos Eisley scene in The New Hope. It was one of the creatures.
Oh, nice.
I remember vividly watching like the I think it was the Empire Dreams doc, and Mark was talking about like, oh, you read the description of like this otherworldly bar, and you go in, and there's like a fucking cricket at the bar. It's like, is this it? A little disappointing. But then just like taking like these like just like absurdly simple designs of creatures and then just making them so prevalent and lived in the universe is always nice to see.
That's always beautiful. Yeah, Mark, I still haven't fully watched Empire Dreams. I've always seen clips and stuff across.
That's one of my favorite. It could be a good commentary.
It could be, yeah. I mean, it's one of those docs where I constantly see clips across Twitter, social media over the years, but I've never seen like the full, beginning to end of the doc. I'm not a huge documentary guy. One of the only documentaries I saw was like one of the sequel trilogy ones. I forget what it was called. But yeah, I'm not a huge doc guy. I need a narrative. Anyways,
there is a narrative.
There is a narrative. I know. Yeah, the narrative is how we made this shit. Anyways,
I still haven't watched the Tross one that bounces back and forth between OT production and New Age production.
Yeah, I didn't see that one. I was like, I'm good. I was still recovering.
At a point, I was like, why do we keep coming back? Are you just trying to trick me? What is this?
Yeah. Anyway. The episode ends. They complete the mission. Again, I think the combat was really fun, and I'll say this again when we get to episode 9. The combat with Asajj was fantastic. But the combat here, again, with the new praying mantis kind of character, was very interesting, very fun. Lighting wasn't the best, in my opinion. It was quite dark. Which, again, how is this permeating in animation? We're in animation and lighting is still terrible. Why?
Guys, here's a secret. You can keep the same level of lighting. Just like make it blue or something.
Make it blue. We don't care. But for some reason, these shows want to get like authentically dark. I don't even know if it's authentically dark. It's just like we're just going to shoot this without any kind of unique lighting to it. Again, I keep mentioning this. I don't even watch Lord of the Rings, but that's one of the most prevalent examples of great lighting. Two Towers is dark as hell towards the end. It's like an hour and a half of fighting at night. And I can see everything's going
in the rain.
In the rain. And I could watch that like at 2:00 in my living room, light shining into my living room, but I can clearly see what's going on. Like I can't watch like this show, or this happened with Willow as well. I'm like, I can't see what's going on. By the way, I need Willow's into. But anyways, I can't see what's going on. And I watched Damsel last week as well. And I'm like, I can't see what is happening. Like I have to close the blinds and everything. It's crazy.
Even if I myself go outside and I'm not in any like specific like artificial lighting, if I got like the bright moon in the sky, I could see myself.
Exactly. When we go outside, we're not like, oh, whew, almost got hit by a car. I can't see. It's like, no, you can see clearly at night. It's just the shows aren't emulating that for some reason. It's really weird. It's been happening. Percy Jackson had that as well with the episode 1. I'm like, why are we doing this? I don't get it. Like, anyways, yeah, lighting again in that world. I get it because it's like a swampland. It's kind of mystifying, but bullshit aside, like you should be able to see what's going on. Yeah. I'm trying to think what other movies have great lighting, like Star Wars, even Return of the Jedi, right? Kind of at night and indoor. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, no, it's lit very, very well at night from the moon.
And they have a lot of light, and like the moon. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, like again, most of it is like facility lighting, but like the Vader and Luke stuff on the bridge where he like touches Luke's lightsaber came out weird. Anyways, episode 9. Pause. I hate our culture.
I fucking Spotify as soon as you did it started playing the fucking end credits Star Wars music. As soon as you said touch lightsaber, that came out wrong. Directed by George Lucas.
Victory celebration, man. Is any other song as emblematic of like we won as that song? Like we fucking won, and then that song is the bomb. Like it really makes you feel like you defeated your Titans or anything.
Honestly, I think the only thing kind of close to that in Star Wars is the throne room, the medal ceremony at the end of A New Hope.
Oh, that's great too.
Very bombastic, like we did it. We saved the day.
Yeah, I fucking dropped that bomb. I killed millions of people. I fucking did it.
I did it. They had families. They were just trying to pay their dues.
Luke's like, who's the boss? I am.
Who do you think you are? I am.
Oh man,
that was the image of like him flying away at the X-wing. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Who do you think you are? I am.
Leia's like, look.
It's the wrong target. That would suck.
It missed.
Why would you build an exact copy next to them?
Luke turned around. Oh shit.
Yeah. That was the prop. That was the prop one we practiced on. Fuck.
Fuck. Vader's like, I got you now. Anyways, we're tired. Episode 9, Bad Batch. Ventress is here, and she's here to stay, or has she always been here all along? So this was interesting.
Oh,
where the entire episode is set on Pabu, which I liked. We see here Crosshair is becoming part of the community. We got this this kind of parallels a scene from season 2. Right after they get to Pabu, I think an episode or 2 after that, we cut back to Pabu and we see Wrecker, Tech, Hunter. They're part of the society on Pabu. Their clothes have slightly changed. Again, I'm talking about season 2. And they're helping out around town. You see Wrecker holding up some materials and resources. And I like that scene a lot because in season 2, that was all about how the Bad Batch was trying to like get this moment of peace, even though they know they can't run away from the danger, that kind of thing. And here, it's the same thing for Crosshair. He's away from the danger. This is your time to be part of the community, be part of the family, like I mentioned again, which is one of the big themes from this entire series. And again, I like the small moment here of Crosshair becoming part of the community because one of the other civilians of Pabu was like, hey, thank you, Crosshair. Crosshair kind of like grunts and walks off. it was great. Like, he's unintentionally or intentionally, being part of the family and being just like them. Even though, funny enough, visually, his armor is still the red and black armor from season 1. He kind of hasn't left that persona, even though he has changed. Maybe his outfit will change with the later events. Hopefully, maybe. We shall see.
There's been a lot of good clothing designs for a lot of characters in the season.
For sure, and I'll talk about that by the end of the episode here with Asajj's design and how that impacted the episode at the end. But the entire episode set on Pabu. Asajj somehow makes it already to Pabu as Omega and Batcher stumble upon her ship in the cave by the sea. This was interesting.
I was watching that scene and like Batcher's freaking out, and then Omega's like, "Well, we've been here before." And then as soon as she starts to walk in, Batcher jumps in front of her to clearly be like, "Hey, don't go in there." And she's like, "All right, I'll check it out."
Yeah, I'm like, what are you? Yeah, like he was growling. She's like, let me go check it out. Like, turn around.
And then at the same time, I'm like, hey, why don't you go get all your brothers to come with you? No problem to do that.
She got so lucky that it was Asajj. Like, what if that was Cad Bane? He was just like, gotcha, little girl. And she should have been gone.
What's his name? The dude hunting us.
Clone Force X dude. Yeah, whatever he's on.
Barbara, fuck your shit up, my guy. What's his name?
What do you mean?
We should know the name of the villain.
Hemlock?
Hemlock, yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant the trooper himself. Yeah, Hemlock would be, hey, Omega, with that awesome voice of his.
So creepy, yeah.
Jimmy is great. The Black Hat himself from Westworld. Or the Black, I would say the Black Man. He's not black. I think his name.
Oh no! Look out! Someone's gonna clip me if I say it.
It's like the Dragon Ball scene. Don't shoot. He's black.
Was that real?
Yes. From the dubbed thing, it's like Goku going against Goku Black or whatever his name is.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck?
I don't watch Dragon Ball. I really should. I never got into it. Rest in peace, Toriyama.
There's so many, right? There's Z and
Kai, or Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Z Kai. Yeah.
Yeah, Guy, Broly, a lot of movies. And there are like a lot of like anime movies that come out that are like, are they canon?
Yeah, that's been happening a lot recently. Like Spy Family is having a movie coming out this month, now this April. That is not canon, or I think it is canon, I'm not sure. Demon Slayer, all those movies are canon, they're part of the manga. But like My Hero Academia, a lot of it is non-canon, or at least it's canon in this weird timeline-esque thing. It's weird. It's always very ambivalent.
Because 3 of them now, right? For My Hero?
Heroes Rising, 2 Heroes, and I think the third one come out, or the third one's coming out this year?
There was definitely a third one that came out.
I get them confused all the time. That's gonna bug me. But I think there is a movie coming out this year for My Hero movies.
I did see
Let's see
Spy
here.
Family tickets were on sale.
Yeah, you're right. It was Two Heroes, Heroes Rising, and World Heroes Mission. They've progressively gotten better. I think Two Heroes is very like basic, very Die Hard-esque. Heroes Rising was very cool with Bakugo. Great animation at the end. World Heroes Mission was also very fun with some great Sakuga animation moments. Anyways, and there's a fourth one coming out this year, at least in Japan, which means we'll probably get it 2 months later. The movies are always a gift and a curse for that franchise. I love the My Hero franchise. I like the My Hero franchise, but the movies, like, the studio can't contend with doing a movie and doing a 24 episode season.
Yeah.
So it really showcases in the 24 episodes where the lighting and the animation isn't up to par from like season 1 or even season 2. And ever since then, like whenever the movie started, it's been going downhill in terms of animation adaptation. It's a long story. People in the comments will be like, but you don't really like My Hero? Because I've been getting a lot of hate for my Hero comments on Twitter. I'm like, it's not how it used to be. I haven't even read the manga since like last August. I'm really behind on the manga, but I heard like the war arc is getting even better. They've been on this war arc for like 2 years in real time. It's been 2 years of just war every week.
War.
Anyways, war. Heroes on both sides. Anyways, back to Ventress here. How did she find Pabu? I want to ask you this question that I wrote down because she says, I have my ways, basically. How do you think she found it? Is it something that, will ever get answered, or is it just like a hand wave kind of situation?
Sounds like the Force to me.
It does. It could easily be the Force. Yeah.
But at the same time, if they were like, "Oh, Fennec put a tracker on your pack wrecker," and I'd be like, "Guys, come on, you're better than this."
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Thankfully, they weren't like tracked. And we'll get to it at the end of the episode where she teases like dangers on the horizon. But again, it's like, how did she find it so easily? I know it's not just very skilled. She could probably use the Force, but even the Force isn't like, end all be all in terms of track. Yeah, it's not like a GPS, it's not like a tracker. So some people, like Star Wars Explained, said maybe she got some contacts from a Quinlan boss, perhaps. Quinlan was part of the resistance, the path. Yeah, the path of the the path from Obi-Wan Kenobi. We got that confirmed. So maybe Quinlan helped her out post her revival. Because again, she's supposed to be dead at this point, by the way. I didn't mention that up top, but yeah, in Dark Disciple, she did die. And this is after the fact.
In the book, it's confirmed, like, the life leaves her. She's died.
Yeah.
There's no wiggle room.
There was hard to find any wiggle room. If you're reading that book, you're not going to be like, oh, they left it on a cliffhanger.
It wasn't like she fell into the darkness and you never saw her again. It was not something like that.
They literally put her in water, in the waters of Dathomir.
It's awful, like, ceremony, like, your corpse is in there.
Yeah, exactly. Like bundled her up and everything. So it was pretty damn definitive in the book. But
before?
No.
Okay.
That was set during the Clone War when they tried to kill Dooku, but they failed because Dooku was still alive by that point. So yeah. So yeah, that was very interesting. And Jennifer, one of the main producers of the show, Jennifer and Brad, they did say that we'll learn more about this at another time. And I was going to ask this later, but I'll just ask it now. Do you think, or we got to confirm that we are going to get answers, not in this series maybe, but at a future date, maybe in future episodes, we don't know. But a lot of people are thinking Ventress, Tales of the Jedi. What do you say? What do you think?
That's what I was going to offer up. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I would actually love that. To just explore, because of characters to get some more background on it. Because being real, we're not going to get a Anakin Tales or an Obi-Wan Tales because that's the saga's route. We don't need it. Even like going somewhere like Rebels, like you're not. I mean, granted, yes, we got Ahsoka episodes and she was prevalent throughout the Clone Wars, but we're like exploring time like way prior, like her birth, and then like dealing with the aftermath of during Order 66. Like that exploration is like the one wiggle room where I can like see them revisiting the characters, like what did they do during Order 66. But like You're doing like a full like 3-episode arc, like they did with Dooku throughout the prequels. You could totally do that with Ventress, like whether that's the time after season 5 of the Clone Wars that lead up through Order 66 and a little bit after, have story with Quinlan, stuff like that. Absolutely.
I think that's very doable, 100%, dude. And remember, the Tale of the Jedi episodes are only like 15 to 20 minutes at most. And I think that's kind of all we need in terms of the setup. Like, and they always had an arc. You know, Dooku's was like from light to darkness, and then Ahsoka was about like her training, and then her eventual, you know, I don't even know.
Yeah, and there was always, especially the Dooku episodes, there was always a clear sense of effect on the character through the events. Like you saw Dooku get the new perspective, like, I don't know, maybe we're not
It was a path.
doing the best with that. And then you see he's too far gone. He doesn't like the idea, but he has to do it.
So it's interesting. Her arc was defined a lot in the Dooku Jedi Lost audio drama novel. Again, it's called Dooku Jedi Lost, where she's reflecting on her past with her relationship to her Jedi Master when she was young, how the Jedi Master took her, you know, during the, you know, when during her conflict on her homeworld, and how he trained her, how he died, and how she was like angry about that. Then how Dooku took control of her training with that. But we also learned a lot about Dooku there. So I'm very interested to learn, like, if we do get Tales of the Jedi, are we in for a Filoni classic, you know, swipe away of a novelization?
A little revisionism.
I would, you know, people are still upset about that, you know, for a lot of the stuff he did with the Ahsoka novel and with other stuff that's been prevalent for his time at Lucasfilm.
And people, I know a lot of people like these novels, but like people like Jedi Lost was like a knockout hit, wasn't it?
It was the first big audio drama novel, yeah. So it was a huge hit, and it led them to do more audio dramas, especially in the High Republic. Written by the great Kevin Scott, who again, Kevin Scott's one of the biggest gifts to Lucasfilm storytelling. I love all of his. He's a core architect of the High Republic. He wrote one of my favorite High Republic books in The Rising Storm. I don't know why I said that. The Rising Storm. And he wrote Path of Vengeance in the High Republic, which was phenomenal as well. He's very good at horror and emotional torment, basically. But he's the nicest guy. So it's very funny. And Dooku Jedi Lost had a lot
just like me.
Yeah. And Dooku Jedi Lost had a lot of emotional torment, especially between like Dooku and Yoda, when Dooku tells Yoda, like, I'm leaving. And Yoda's like, it's very sad. But anyways, I'm
Who voices Yoda? I have to know.
What?
Who voices Yoda? I have to know.
I can't get that off the top of my head. I think it was it sounded very Yoda-y. Who does?
Was it Tom King?
Who does Yoda in the Clone Wars?
Tom King.
Tom King. Okay. Yoda, Dooku, Jedi Lost. Let's see here. Not the Dooku fight. I don't care about the Dooku fight from Clone Wars. Dooku, Jedi Lost. Oh, they don't tell me voices. But it sounded very good. I think was it Mark Thompson? Was Mark Thompson doing all this? I don't think he was. Let's see here. Yoda was Mark Thompson as Yoda. Yeah, Mark Thompson as Yoda.
I have the audiobook. I need to.
Do I see anything else here? Jonathan Davis is Qui-Gon. Sifo Dyas. Yeah, I don't see anything else here.
Jonathan Davis, lead singer of Korn.
Exactly. No idea who that is. But anyway, so yeah, I'm very curious when we'll get to learn about that. Again, Tales of the Jedi seems like the most applicable in terms of visual storytelling, but we could always just get it in another book. But if they killed her in a book, are they going to describe how they killed her in another book? I don't know. I don't think so. Comic is even less likely, even though I do like the visual format on comic books, depending on who's the artist.
So what you're saying is Bad Batch Season 4?
Honestly, no.
Can you imagine they pull the wool over us like, gotcha?
I mean, I say this all the time. We still do not know what the next Lucasfilm animation big project is after the Bad Batch. 2025 and beyond. What's next for Lucasfilm animation?
Rebels 2.
Rebel sequel?
We already got it.
Man.
Whether you like it or not.
I don't.
You see that image? You see that image of Freddie Prince's Kanan?
Yeah, that's cool.
Pretty
Yeah,
cool. But I'm
that's
also
pretty
like,
cool.
did they actually get them to take that, or did they make it?
I don't know. AI.
Did they just take like existing photo of Freddy and they're just like, oh, I'm gonna add the fucking shape here?
Yeah. It's horrible nowadays where you see an image and you're kind of like confused about it, and you have to be like, was that AI? It's like not everything is the AI if you don't understand what it looks like now.
Yeah. I do find it funny that like the image is a blue tint, and it is in the show, but I'm just like, Freddy isn't tan enough, is he?
So yeah, let's hop back into the Bad Batch here. She's, she we don't know how she found it, but then she explains metachlorians to the group and opens up the possibility that unique clones like her, maybe the Bad Batch, could be force sensitive, and they're kind of aghast by this.
You don't think?
And I think this is interesting. I think since first season, we've always had thoughts and theories about Omega being force sensitive. This kind of isn't new information. I remember early on, I forget why people were talking about it. I think because we were trying to be like, why does the Empire want Omega? All the way back in season 1, they're like, we got to get Omega. And we're like, why do they want her? Like back when Fennec was trying to kidnap her, bring her back to Kamino, we're like, are they trying to clone her? Force sensitive? What's going on here? So it was all the way back in like when the first season was airing. But now it's kind of brought up to the forefront here. She does use the word midichlorians. But then after that, let's test her out. Let's see if she actually is force sensitive. And we get some great, again, training scenes between Omega and Asajj. The first one here was her holding a apple over her head, basically practicing balance, both physically and mentally, as Jedi Force users tend to do.
I might have the same attitude, man. I'm like, yeah, the rock's slippery. This is bullshit. I need a fair stance.
This is great because it kind of parallels Asajj when she was trying to get Savage to kill Dooku, teaching him a lot of the dark side aspects of the Force. Savage, as we all know, physically one of the strongest users we've seen. But his intelligence level wasn't great, and his connection to the Force, while brute strength was strong, his, how you describe it, his connectiveness to the Force and his technique, technique was bad. Technique. Like Maul walked over Savage in terms of not strength, but in terms of like technique with the Force and with the lightsaber. So that's pretty funny. And comparing, contrasting that to how she's calmly teaching Omega was very interesting. No Force lightning or no Force choking involved here.
Although she does choke, I think record later.
All right, yeah, at least grab him. Yeah, at least like that was great. Anyways, tension rises as Hunter and the rest confirm that she was an assassin during the Clone Wars. One of the favorite lines here was like, he's afraid of who she is. Like, we're afraid of who she is, not who she was. Because they don't know what she's been through. They don't know the things she's seen, the things she's done.
Nice.
Thank you. And Asajj sends Omega. This is weird. Asajj sends Omega like, hey, can you go look for this white flower lily on the top of this mountain? Basically to get her out of the way so her and the Bad Batch could eventually fight.
I thought she was Jedi testing Jedi speed.
She uses her Jedi for Phantom Menace speed.
Never again.
Never again.
I'm so serious. I never thought of that as a power when I was a kid. I was like, that's an editing mistake. As a kid, I thought that. No, I was on the reverse end.
It's always weird because you see it in like books all the time. Where it's like they travel these long distances very fast. I'm like, but you never really visually see it ever again. I wish it was.
Plus, I'm in a video game and my like stamina bar is full, and I press down R3.
Yeah. Hell, even in like the Battlefront games, the way you traverse the battlefield so quickly, technically Jedi speed.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was weird to me because I'm like, first of all, how long has she been on this world? And second of all, like, how does she know there's a white flower lily? Like, how familiar is she with the topography of Pabu? That felt very weird to me. Like, how long has she been here? How does she know about this flower at the very random tree on the very top of the hill when she's part of the bottom of the ocean? I don't know.
The topography of Pabu is not an semblance of words I thought I'd ever hear.
What?
Well, these words are in the Bible.
What's the Bible again? I always have to remind myself, what is Easter? Is that when he's coming back from the alive, or was his birthday? Is Christmas his birthday?
Somebody had a cake with Jesus on it, and under it said, "Just kidding."
That's fucked up.
It's so funny, man.
That's hilarious. I love the Oscar Isaac memes yesterday. That was great.
Oh,
somehow Jesus has returned.
Oh, does he look like Jesus and something?
No, I mean, it was just like a lot of like somehow Jesus has returned, like where he was wearing like Roman armor or just a.
I know there's the billion memes that go around of like someone's like this person died on this day, but then this person was born on this day. Welcome back, so and so.
Oh wow! So yeah, that was very funny. Good old Star Wars memes. But then, of course, as Omega goes to look for the White Flower Lily, Hunter and the squad fight Asajj in a brilliantly choreographed fight here. I thought it was very fun, very cool. And again, it shows a lot of character. She puts her lightsaber aside and just physically fighting them hand to hand.
I guess. Hey, look at you pulling an MCU quote.
You can't fight them hand to hand.
Look how far you've fallen.
Civil War is different. That movie's peak.
Alex Garland's Civil War.
Seeing that next week.
No, fuck. What was I about to say? What were you talking about? The fight. Fighting? Yeah, she like no. She like took away the blaster. She was like, no cheating. And then her finishing move was a force push, and I was like, motherfucker, you son of a bitch.
No cheating. And then she started boxing. I was like, oh shit. It was great.
This whole episode, I think, is some of the best animation the series has had. I like really took a lot of notes. There's so much detail in like the little nuances. Like there's so much, not only like, I mean, they had like facial features that move, but like there's like lingering shots of people's faces that are adjusting to different poses and stuff. And I'm like, you took a lot of effort to make this. This looks so good.
Interesting. Yeah, I gotta rewatch the episode then. But I do think it was very informative in terms of a lot of like facial expressions about how the characters were feeling a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Especially from Asajj. Like, because again, she's not a very talkative character, but you can get a lot of like information from her from the way she was like looking at Omega or looking at the others while she's training Omega. It was very interesting. Good back and forth facial expression. That's a good point.
Yeah.
But then like they get the brawl was great. They get their blasters back, and she gets to pull out her lightsaber, like orange lightsaber. It was great, or yellow, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. So yeah, I just had a blast watching this come to happen in real time. It was just a great action, great set piece. In the cave, the lighting was great. Can clearly see how each of them are trying to use their techniques to fight Asajj, who barely got a scratch on her. She's that good. She's that good.
So good. Hair looks good.
Hair looks great. Yeah.
But from an angle, I'm like, if you had a full 360, that shit would be the fucking bowl cut, and I need everybody to stop it.
Wait, say that again?
Just like she has like the hair flat, but like when you see it from the side, you can just see that it's like if it were to be all around, it would be the fucking bowl cut that we keep making fun of in Hollywood.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just like,
between the bowl cut and we'll get to it with the Acolyte, but the black hairdo where it's like you get the Killmonger hair for black characters. I'm like, stop it! Like Ryan Coogler really fucked up black characters post 2018.
Damn.
Because every character has to have the Killmonger haircut with the Miles Morales, in Spider-Man games. He has the same haircut. It's like, stop.
With the open top mask. I'm like, don't fucking do that.
Ew. I mean, I still wonder how that from Insomniac, which has hundreds of developers on it, how that came to pass.
Mm-hmm.
One of the worst Spider-Man designs I've ever seen. Nathan knows. I was on stream like, what is that on his head? Like, let me change my costume immediately. You will never wear this when I'm playing you. Never, ever again.
So you're saying Ben shouldn't have that haircut?
I would murder you.
Do you have a preferred haircut? Is it okay
No, I
if I come here?
don't. But I don't have a preferred haircut at all. I just don't want that one.
I may
I
need to
don't want.
consult you on your brother's character's haircut, though. Let's
Good.
creative consultant, please help me out here.
Okay. But it was just very funny. I'm like, oh man, not great. I was playing Wizards 101 the other day and making a new character.
I was so ready for you to say I was playing Wizards of Waverly Place. I don't know why. I was like,
Great
wow.
I played Wizards 101 and they've updated the black like designs in terms of like skin tone and hair designs. Because back in like 2008, it was just like, you're the dark or you're light. And that was kind of it for black characters. Hell, remember in Lego Star Wars, we didn't get a black character design until like the Clone Wars collection. It was always either like the Ewok, gonna be pure black, or not Ewok, sorry, Jawa, where like that black with yellow eyes. Because I swear to God, like I don't think there was a black character, even though we had a Lando in the original trilogy. I don't think the character customization had a black character. I could be wrong, but I swear to God, I think
they did, but it was just one brown skin tone.
It was one brown skin tone or something. It was like either the original trilogy or the 1 through 3. One of them didn't have a black character. I know that for a fact. Unless I'm like,
and both of those trilogies had at least one black character.
At least one black character in Mace and Lando. That's all we got back in the day. And thank you, Finn.
Finn, who must be related to one of those two.
Exactly right. Oh boy.
Right time.
But at least we have Jonna, who's like not related to any of them, right?
I mean, probably not.
But I didn't even read the fucking post episode 9, but pre-episode 9 novel. What was that called?
What, Resistance Reborn?
No, that was pretty good. What was the one with Luke and Anakin and the darkness? Like,
Shadows
of the Sith. Yeah, I think was it Shadows of the Sith? Maybe
that sounds a little too obvious.
It sounded a bit too like gamey, like had a video game.
Star Wars Shadows of the Sith 2 coming
Star
soon.
Wars Shadow of the Sith. Yeah, Shadow of the Sith. Not a great title, but it's a lot of people like some people were doing like top 4 Star Wars novels Saturday or Sunday, and I saw this in a lot of quote tweets. I'm like, is this really a good book?
I mean, from just reading the extra, I know it was like, oh, the obvious characters, but like it was very well written when I was reading.
Yeah, I mean, I just missed it, but maybe if I read it back in the day, it's hard to go back from like constantly reading High Republic books to go back to read like a normal timeline Star Wars book. It feels so constrained whenever I go back to read something like that. But I heard the book. I looking over my library here, Battle Scars and Rise of the Red Blade. Those 2 books are a book that I have not read. Battle Scars, of course, the Jedi Survivor prequel, and Rise of the Red Blade is a Inquisitor story. Those I think have some more leeway in terms of storytelling. But anyways, I talk about nature a lot, and let's finish this up here with Ventress talking to Omega about how to connect with nature. Mm-hmm. And she has her reach out on the boat, which is very interesting. Sorry. And very TOJ. It's like, reach out. I think she said, like, what do you see? I could be wrong. Do you remember what she said? Did you see it recently?
Yeah. She was like, what am I supposed to be reaching out for? And she's like, everything.
Everything. Yeah, which was great. Again, big TOJ vibes. Kind of reminds me of like what, of course, Rey and Luke going after there. By the way, I missed it, but one of my notes says before she goes on the boat, Crosshair calls Omega naive for trusting Asajj, which is funny since he's also on a path of redemption, just like Omega, or just like Asajj currently is as well. Both on these paths of redemption, and Crosshair's kind of dismissing the other one unintentionally. Of course, he doesn't know about her past again. But yeah, I do like how she implies Ventress implies the batch might be holding back Omega. Of course, Omega's like she can't do it. Asajj has to do it herself. But in that conversation, I think she like implies like the batch are holding her back unintentionally, and in terms of her aptitude for the Force, her abilities with the Force. Because I think she says you are skilled in a way, but it's just like you haven't had the proper training, which of course she hasn't. She's been with the Bad Batch. She's been doing missions all the time.
Yeah.
So that might be a thing that I put in my notes here. I'll talk about it at the end. But anyways, Ventress learns to calmly defeat this new creature called the Variathan. Play on, of course, Leviathan. The Variathan creature, which was a very interesting creature design. And this is where I get into symbolism that you were talking about in terms of like visual language on our costumes. There was a snake on her armor plate, her shoulder plate. The snake is resembles, and I remember this, and also Star Wars Explained helped me to remember this because I was watching the episode. I'm like snakes. But in Dark Disciple, she was on Dathomir teaching what's it called? Quinlan Voss how to be more dark side. If you haven't read Dark Disciple again, Quinlan has to go with Asajj to learn how to defeat and assassinate Dooku. Of course, Jedi don't practice assassinations, so when he teams up with Asajj, she has to teach him the ways of the dark side, which makes for a fun dynamic. And of course, that's when they also romantically get involved as well. But anyways, she teaches him how on Dathomir, she learned to deceive a black snake in one of her trials. The Dathomirians teach her with the Force in terms of giving it a false sense of security and then killing it once you really calmed it down. Again, using the light side, then snatching it, and using dark side. There's also a creature called the Sleeper, where she learned to use the dominant side of the Force to dominate that creature by pure darkness and pure dominance. That was called the Sleeper, and I think that was also in that same area where she was put to rest, by the way. Anyways, I could be wrong with that last part. But anyways, Ventress, by calming down this creature, this is really showcasing symbolically how far she's grown from her training with Dooku/Dathomir in terms of using the dark side of the Force to using the light side, which we've seen a lot via Rebels with Ezra. I think Ezra's one of the more in tune with creatures Jedi that we've seen in animation so far, and even in live action. Yeah. And Ezra really calms down creatures. We know Omega's very good with creatures, a la Batcher, who has always been a symbolic presence throughout season 3 so far. And in this episode, you can say he's kind of like nature, how she's getting close with nature. She's getting close with Batcher so far throughout season 3. And in this episode, Omega is getting taught by Ventress, who's getting close to nature via her calming down this Variathan creature. So it's a very interesting web there of, again, what we learned from the last episode, calm, inner peace, that patient that she was teaching Crosshair gets executed here with the sea creature. Then episode ends, Omega says, or Ventress says to Omega, she has no high midichlorian count at the end of her training session when they ask her, like, what's the deal here? What are we doing moving forward? But then she walks away and Crosshair's like, she's lying. So it kind of leaves us in an interesting position here as, do we trust Crosshair or do we trust Asajj? Does Omega have a high midichlorian count? Does it even matter? Are we going to see her use the Force throughout this series? It's a great question. What do you think, man? Is there going to be a point where she Force pushes somebody or no? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I would kind of find it a bit refreshing if there was a setup for a Star Wars story where, like, yeah, this person has the potential to be very well endowed with the Force and be very powerful, and they were just like, you know what? I'm all right. I'm comfortable where I am. I'm with my people. I'm good. I don't need it.
Exactly. I think I feel the same way. But also, I'm going to put a more tragic spin on it. You said, like, she's with her people. She's fine. But, and I've talked about it in this episode in terms of, like, hey, the Bad Batch might be holding you back unintentionally. They're your family. They want to put you in part of, like, what they know, the combat. They gave her an arrow, right? Like, she's part of the squad. But if she is more Force sensitive than we think, maybe she needs that separation from the Bad Batch. And I've listening to some preseason interviews with Omega's actress Michelle and wow, I'm forgetting the Rex voice actor.
T. Bradley Baker.
Thank you, D. Bradley Baker. They did say the finale is very emotional. I think I remember hearing the word bittersweet, and I could see her leaving the Batch, dude. I know. I could see her leaving the Batch on her own to embark on her own adventure. And Star Wars Explained also mentioned how, it could be, this whole, again, family theme that's been prevalent throughout Star Wars and especially the series. What happens as, the Dad Batch might be leaving behind, or not leaving behind, but the daughter has to go to college, basically. The daughter has to leave the nest. The child has to leave the nest. A Toy Story 3/Toy Story 4 scenario, whatever you want to say.
Don't you fucking so long partner me, motherfucker. Don't you?
Imagine, man. She's like, so long.
Imagine. I can imagine a lot of things. I can imagine Ben Solo living a happy life. It doesn't mean I'm getting it.
Fuck you. That was too far. But
how do you think I feel? I didn't write this. But you saw me write it, and people like it.
It was great. But again, we could get, a la So Long Partner. We could get So Long Hunter or something like that. I'm just like, oh, tears in the rain. I would bawl my eyes out.
Aren't you, Mr. Beyond the Spider-Verse, break the canon mold? It doesn't gotta be this way. Can't she learn with her group? Can't we break the Jedi cycle?
Yes. And I hope he does. I mean, is it the Jedi cycle to leave? I mean, it's just being a kid, though, right? It's being a normal human. You got to leave. You can't stay at your parents' house all the time. That kind of thing.
Yeah, she's still a child.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know.
Because that's what it's always been, is like taking a child away from a family, but that's always wild because those are the formative years, right? And I obviously their ideal is to break the deeper connection to rage out, but you have the fucking memories and attachment and the good times. So you get reacquainted with them. You still have that chance of turning over.
Exactly.
We played we played Jedi Survivor, and there's at least a couple moments where they force you to click embrace the darkness, and I'm like, oh no, I don't want to.
And that was really fun. So yeah, that's a good point. That's a great point, actually. In terms of breaking the wheel, breaking the cycle, but also I think it's just natural that she might wants to experience the world by herself. But she did so well when she was by herself in the first 2 episodes here, or 3 episodes. When she was behind bars on Tantus.
Yeah.
So she has experience. You never know.
I don't know. It feels intense to tell a story of bringing the broken group back together, only to have a piece drift away.
Yeah.
But then what? Lost Tech.
We'll have Crosshair back.
Echo is freelancing with Rex.
And having the time of his life. But yeah, that's it for Bad Batch. And I also mentioned Tales of the Jedi. We'd already talked about that in terms of when could we see Asajj next. Let's jump into the last part of our episode here, breaking down this Acolyte trailer. I did not pull it up because I'm an idiot.
Do better.
I know. You just set up the stream thing. Anyways, Acolyte, that's what it's called. First off, thoughts on the Acolyte trailer overall?
Very compelling, because especially the time period, right? We're not crammed in between 3 and 4 again.
Thank God.
Let alone post 6, which is where the Mandoverse chills on all aspects.
Yeah, so we're not in any kind of original trilogy.
But basically, we're not in orbit of the OT. We're pretty drawn back. Even, granted, we're closer to the prequel era, but we're pretty far back, as it were.
So if you close your eyes, I'm kidding. Here we go. So we're just gonna watch it. We've already seen it countless times. But we're gonna watch it and then we're gonna freeze frame, go through each of the characters and thoughts about the show up ahead. So these are our thoughts. We've already seen it, but it's always fun to talk about it.
It's been a minute since I watched it.
Close your
eyes. Here we go.
Your eyes.
These kids are chilling.
Can deceive you.
I watched The New Hope. I know this long.
We must not trust them.
Also, I love Lee Jong-jae from Squid Game. He's great.
Oh yeah.
Tell me what comes into your mind.
I'm very excited to see more like just Jedi classes.
Me too. We don't really get that much outside of the prequels or Attack of the Clones, really.
Give me a Hogwarts style Star Wars show.
Here we go.
It's Trinity.
Jedi Kung Fu.
No, there's a lot of hand choreography, man.
Is she dead in the first episode, Trinity?
Stop. No, because she's in a group shot later.
Oh, she is. Oh, that could be a flashback. You never know.
I think that's cool.
I didn't know that was a convict. More action. I love the Kung Fu side.
These flips, cool. I love it.
That was Vernestra.
There she is, yeah. Carrie Moss is in that shot.
This isn't about good or bad.
Oh my god. Lighting?
This is about power.
Snow?
And who is allowed to use it?
Octu?
What is
Dreads? Good shot.
They got fucked up.
They did. I know the celebration trailer had like a front shot of all of them with their sabers in that. I was really hoping to see that in HD, but
I wonder if we're gonna get a front and side shot. I assume so.
Probably. I think you'll get like the front shot, and then like that shot is like more the charge, as it were.
Agreed. Yeah. Again, that dark side must be super strong to push back the force wall of all those Jedi masters and knights, and Padawans. But
is it plague?
Do not. Oh God. Do not let this trailer deceive you. Interesting enough, Leslie Headland, she talked about, what am I doing? We want to keep the quality the same. Where do we go for time? Where did I slow it down at?
It's under there. Play X speed.
I'm an idiot. Back in my day, anyways.
Make sure you're muted so you're not like hearing distorted audio.
Thanks, Dad. Anything else? Want me to tie my shoes, motherfucker?
Never showed your quality to 1080p. You look professional, motherfucker. I'm just kidding. Embarrassing me, looking like a bitch out there. I'm kidding.
Anything else you want to say, Nathan? Damn.
You were an accident. No.
How's your day, motherfucker?
Just gloom's worse than worse.
Oh man.
We get a free sponsor from BetterHelp to like help us.
Honestly. I was gonna say, yeah, Leslie's always talking about like there are more surprises in store. There's a Rashomon aspect to the show. Rashomon being different perspectives, a la The Last Jedi. That's like the biggest aspect of Rashomon in Star Wars, where Luke had a completely different perspective on what happened during the fall of the Jedi Temple, the fall of Ben Solo, while Ben had another different perspective. It's not until the third act where Luke really, or end of the second act, where Luke really tells Rey, hey, this is what really happened. So we go through three perspectives in The Last Jedi about like what happened that day. And we're going to get that again here in The Acolyte. Probably more than just three perspectives, but looking at the character descriptions, looking at the way this trailer is set up and the story that we know so far, it's looking like we're going to get a lot of different perspectives from Amanda Stelberg's character, I don't know if she is the Acolyte, but her character, and what went down with Soul, who is, again, Lee Jong-jae's character. The description of the show talks about how, a Jedi Master and reunites with a presence from his past, a la Amanda Stelberg, and they try and track down these Jedi murders and the secrets that lie behind them. Something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing, of course. So, of course, this is a murder mystery show, and with murder mysteries comes a lot of intertangled webs of lies and deceit. We can't trust everybody, even our main character. So it's going to be very interesting to glean those perspectives on a weekly basis. The first 2 episodes are coming in on the same day, June 4th, and there are 8 episodes. So we're going to have about 6 weeks of theory crafting about who is telling the truth, when certain things are taking place. And speaking of when, there's 8 episodes, but 6 episodes after the first 2 episodes, I mean.
Right.
So yeah, first things first, this scene right here, as Lee Jung-jae talks about the past, what do you see? We see these 2 characters, close your eyes, they're going to sleep. And I do believe this is a flashback to when he first was teaching Amanda Stelberg's character. Not her, she's white. But one of the characters says, "I see fire." Where's she at? Right there. Black girl in the back. Pause. Damn it. There we go. Black girl in the back. I see fire. And also, we might be able to see older versions. A lot of the stuff is not coming from me, by the way. I've watched countless trailer breakdowns from people I respect. Not, you're idiots on YouTube.
I thought you were on it. I believed in you when I appointed.
I gotta be honest.
4 years ago, you lied on your resume. You saying you were the best talker.
Best talker. Yeah.
You are a best speaker.
My teachers did say, "Oh, you have a good." I learning to talk to adults and kids every day at the museum center really helped me. Because what?
Oh, go ahead.
I was like one of the only ones in class who was like able to those PowerPoint presentations throughout elementary, middle, and high school. I actually liked doing that after I was at the museum center, where I'm like constantly giving technically presentations every day to different age groups and different cultures. So I'm just like talking. I'm used to talking to people. That's why I'm a teacher. But yeah, if I could do this and get paid like a teacher, that'd be fantastic. Mr. Beast, call me. That'd be great.
Big Mr. Beast fan, are you?
I've been getting onto the Mr. Beast train. Maybe one of these days I can be a subscriber and he can like give me $10,000 to sit in the store for a certain amount of days. You see that video where a guy has to like sit in a store?
I saw you posted it. It's an older video at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good video.
I'm catching up.
Yeah, a lot of people like to say like, billionaire bad, and it's like, dude's helping a lot.
I know people are always like, billionaires are bad. Not really. But yeah, Mr. Beast is as far as I don't know the guy. I'm just getting into his videos, but he seems like a cool guy to me. Anyways, I do believe this is a flashback scene with Amanda Stelberg's character. Do we have a name for her character? Let me see. May, M-A-E. It could be Mai. I think it's May.
I'm going with May.
Let me see, real quick. I have her character. May gets swept up in a sinister mystery, one that puts her in the center of a conflict in unexpected ways. So I do think she's not the Acolyte, but she may be in contact with the Acolyte, who we see in the trailer.
She becomes the Acolyte.
Possibly.
I
do think season 1 has to end in a defeat. And I do think they defeat one of the Acolytes, but we'll have 2. There's always 2. So I think May could be set up to be the Acolyte in season 2. You never really know. We could get a classic Old Republic Revan storyline where he defeats the bad guy but becomes the bad guy. You never really know. Or like I've been the bad guy all along. Spoiler alert for Revan. It's interesting. Going back to the Revan stuff, like Revan, the whole Revan Malgus storyline, really, or is it Malgus? Revan and
it's Malgus, yeah.
His best friend is Malgus,
the bald guy.
No,
it's
yeah, no. Was
No,
it?
the lady.
Was
I'll be honest. I have not dived into a lick of lore in the Old Republic.
Revan and Malik.
Malik.
Malik's the one who betrays him. Malik's jaw was removed by a lightsaber strike from Revan. Wow, what a guy.
Who was
What a-
Malgus? I know a Malgus.
Malgus came years after Revan during the conquest of Coruscant, I believe. One of the many conquests of Coruscant. Anyways, click on tab. But yeah, I do believe when she says like I see fire, that is her. So this is a flashback before she becomes eventually trained by Soul. That is my theory. I think that's very likely. We must not trust them. I don't know. Okay. So we see her going to this shady place. Again, good lighting, good. We're seeing a lot of different cultures and environments.
I love the outfits. The costume design is probably some of the best we've seen in these different Star Wars properties.
I agree, man. I think it looks really cool, really interesting, really vibrant. Tell me what comes into your mind. Speak, children, speak.
This is where they filmed the Anakin Obi-Wan flashback fight for the show.
Exactly. Yeah.
Close
they
enough.
did say they built a lot of new. They say they built a lot of new sets, but they could be slipping on Obi-Wan's blood there. Anyways,
volume.
Some of the other characters. I'm trying to see if we see some of them later on in the trailer. I can't see any right now. It might come to me later. He could be the guy with the. Let's see. It could be.
Is that Eric
Stevens? Yord. Clicking on here.
Yord,
who's the Jedi Knight and Guardian from the Jedi Temple, is an overachiever, a rule follower, and his need to be by the book Jedi can cloud his mind. Some are like, oh, he is so in tune with the Force. He is so an overachiever. Could he be the actual secret killer that's on the loose, the secret Darksider? Which is very possible. I do like that idea of somebody being such an overachiever, so in tune with the rigidness of the Force, that if something is able to crack that ideology, if he's able to come across some information or knowledge that can crack his rigidness, sometimes it's the most rigid of people who become the more antagonistic or the most aggressive of characters.
I can see that. I could see that being a big reveal, just like uncovering it. It's like, then it must have been. And they turn around, it's like, you all lost your way.
Yeah. Granted, it is a mystery thriller. One of the key tenets mystery thrillers, we do meet the killer very early on in the series. Now, granted, that's my mystery thriller brain. It's not a mystery thriller / Star Wars brain. And Star Wars recently have been diving into reveals, or Disney Plus in general, I was diving into reveals towards the end of a series. But it could be different here. We could be looking at a killer very early on in the series, which I hope is the case. I don't want to have any early hopes, in the series, but I hope we do meet the killer early on. Or if it's a completely new character, hopefully the killer or the new character, if we meet them later on, has a cool enough presence that I don't care that they came on so late in the game. But I do think the killer, the Acolyte, whatever, is somebody we have met already in the series. That being said, there are, 2 hidden Sith at this point. I'm okay with them coming later in the game because obviously their purpose is to hide. But I do again think one of these Jedi could be a killer.
Give me season 1.
Is it this black guy? I don't know.
Give me season 1 where we catch the killer. Give me season 1 where we catch the killer, lock him up, conclude there. Then season 2, we're running around trying to solve a new case, and now we got to break out the season 1 killer and work with them.
I do love that. I do love that aspect. It happened a lot, and not a lot, but when it happened, I really like it. Like it happened to Legend of Korra sometimes. Zuko of it all too. Hannibal. Anyways, I See Fire. There we go. Youngling 3, who is definitely May. I See Fire girl is May. Because we see her running away from fire later on in the trailer when she's a teenager. But then we meet, of course, Trinity. What's her name? Carrion Moss. There we go.
Carry-on.
And she could be an early victim to this show. Granted, we see her a lot in the trailer, but it could easily be a flashback to earlier tragic events that have happened prior to this scene.
Why do you think she's gonna die?
Because later in the trailer, Jedi have been getting killed, they say. Literally. They say Jedi have been getting killed or something like that.
Not this one.
Getting murked in the show. Maybe not that one. You never know. Hopefully not. Great kung fu action. We learned about gun fu from like Korean movies and John Wick movies. Like the raid really kind of perfected that. Or the raid has a lot of like knives and gun fu, but John Wick is mostly gun fu because he's really fighting with a gun. Anyways, that's Amanda's character. I do not think, obviously, that she is the Acolyte, nor is she the killer. Why is she trying to kill her, though? I don't know. Is she training to be the Acolyte? Is she doing this so the Acolyte remembers her? Or like, hey, one of the comments under a Star Wars Explained video live stream was like, hey, could this be the case of her killing Jedi so that she could have like a resume, basically, for lack of better terms, for the Sith? And they're like, I like what you've done here. Join us kind of thing.
Prove yourself.
You never really know. Exactly. Yeah. This June. Yeah. Okay. Yours. Someone is killing Jedi. Don't know who that character is. So this is again May going after what seems to be another Jedi. So we've seen her trying to kill Trinity. We keep saying Trinity. Carrie-Anne Moss's character. What is her name in the show? Carrie-Anne Moss's character is named. If I can find it, let me go back.
Happy 25th anniversary of Matrix.
Yeah, right. Indara. Master Indara is a Jedi Master of great physical and mental skill. Period. That's it. And I'm like, maybe they're not giving us much because her character is important. Could she be evil?
Aren't they all vague?
True. That's a good point. But it just, I don't know, Nate. I'm getting bad vibes. I'm telling you, I'm getting bad vibes. Am I ever
I don't know
wrong?
why. Go take a nap.
I am tired. So she goes and kills. Oh, that was an interesting shot. What happened there? It's like she gets pulled away. See that?
Yeah. Let's see here. Is it
right there? So, like the knife bends and then it cuts away.
If you hit
what?
if you hit your comma and period keys, it should be able to go left and right by frame.
What?
Like keep it paused. Like he has to be paused to do it.
Oh, nice. Internet. Crazy. But yeah, she comes in to do the stabbing motion, and then she does like a forest wall. And the guy seems to be closing his eyes. Am I wrong there?
Maybe.
He seems to be closing his eyes there, but then pause. So then we meet, looking at the data bank here. That is our first introduction to Jecki, Jecki. She is a Padawan apprentice to Master Soul. Interesting. I thought May was a Padawan to Master Soul. She probably was, but when she left the Order because there was some tragic incident, then we get the replacement here in Jecki. By the way, this is what I'm looking at. If people want to say, like, what's he looking at here?
That's Daphne Keene.
So yeah, this is the I'm looking at the Star Wars databank on. All you have to do is look up Star Wars databank / the Acolyte or something along those lines, and you'll find it. But yeah, that is Daphne Keene. She is a Padawan apprentice to Master Soul, and although she is young, she projects calm and conducts herself with maturity. So that's very interesting. Back to the trailer though. So yeah, I really like that. And she could be someone who we could get a fun, like, I thought I was your favorite apprentice then. Why are we looking for your other apprentice? Like, I would love some apprentice jealousy / dynamic there if she comes in contact with May. Again, we see in the back there, that is Killmonger hairdo Yord, who is the perfectionist.
Okay.
I think he's also a Padawan. I can't tell. I don't see any braid on him. But he could be a knight. But again, if people wondering, What?
Be like a freshly appointed knight, maybe.
Probably, yeah. Hey, people are wondering again, what's the hair thing I was talking about? This is the hair thing. If you want to zoom in there, that's the hair thing. It's just I see it a lot. Anyways, it doesn't make any sense. Of course, he says that because he's a very rigid Jedi. Of course, stuff to him doesn't make a lot of sense. But I think his arc in the series can be very interesting in terms of coming to terms with what may or may not be true from his knowledge of the Jedi and the history of the Jedi. Also, Charlie, I think that's his actor's name, Charlie something. He was fantastic in Russian Doll, which is Lily Headland's big Netflix show. It ran 2 seasons. She was showrunner on season 1, not season 2. Season 1 is far superior to season 2. I did not like season 2. Anyways,
is the show really wrapped? Or
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so it's not like a missing season, that storyline we should have had.
Yeah. First season is pretty shut and closed. Season 2 just also wants to continue on it. Like season 1 could have been one perfect season. Season 2 continues the thread. And I think it just goes in messy places. But season 1 by itself is a fantastic, very sweet, very charming time, stuck in the past, Groundhog Day type of show. And he's like the main male foil to, not foil, but just male partner to the main actress, so I'm blanking on right now, but she's great in Russian Doll.
Nice.
Anyways, it doesn't make any sense. What's going on here? Cut to this interesting planet, a lot of fog, a lot of trees. They're overlooking something there. They could be at a Jedi temple outpost. In the High Republic, they are very known for doing a lot of Jedi temple outposts where they have the main Jedi temple in Coruscant, but in the High Republic era, they're stretching out their presence across the outer rim, the mid rim. That also was prevalent due to Starlight Beacon in phase 1 of the High Republic. But this is years after the novel timeline, what the novels are currently at. These are like 100 or so years after the novel. This is towards the end of the High Republic, while the novels are at like the height of the High Republic. Anyways, so it's very interesting. It could be a Jedi outpost here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Jedi here, and they could be looking for an acolyte, or they could be got some information that somebody secret is here. Don't know who. Hard to say much about this scene. Just very cool cloaks and different designs here. This is Kel Naka. Jonas's character, Kel Naka, sorry. Kelnacca. Kel Naka is a Wookiee Jedi, a loner who lives a solitary life. He could be living a solitary life because of the tragic incident. Could it be related to what happened between Sol and May in the past, and that's why he's living a solitary life? Maybe. So Kel Naka, he showed up at Star Wars Celebration on stage. And this is again Sol, who I believe to be May's master, trying to discover what's going on here. Again, he's going to be working with May, I think, for a lot of the series, at least in the present timeline, because they're going to be cutting back and forth between timelines. This is a convict. He says, what happened? So a lot of the trailer don't think it's like very from point A to point B. I think a lot of these shots could be from different parts of the timeline.
Yeah. And they also
very
love
cool shot, by the way. I like this. It looks like Naboo, by the way.
Oh yeah. And they also like to have just like footage from the first couple episodes.
Exactly. A lot of this could be the first 2 episodes. This is May, meaning, and look at the outfit change. So he's wearing gold, brown. Granted, this could just be mission attire. In the High Republic, they have different costumes for mission attire versus ceremonial robes. Right there, he's wearing brown, brown and yellows. But in the scene of the convict, he's wearing the white and yellow. So could be a different time for Sol, as in timeline, or just a different outfit change. You can't really tell. So yeah, this is him coming into kind of May, which I believe happens very early on in the series because they got to figure out what's happening together. So she's like, "Hey, oh shit, that's my master. Oh fuck." Wow. That's my theory for right now. I love her design.
The spin, man. I love a spin.
Love a good spin. I love the weave.
Some great wire work happening.
Age of Light. This is Vernestra Rowe. Vernestra Rowe is a very prevalent High Republic character. Where's her data bank at? Where's it at?
She was the young purple-haired Jedi, right?
Yep, she's a purple-haired Jedi from the High Republic. Or me. Let me see if I can, because StarWars.com had an interesting character sheet for her in the data bank. Vernestra Rowe, also known as Vern to her close friends, she gets the biggest paragraph of StarWars.com because it aligns with what's happening in the High Republic. But anyways, for right now, she's an elder Jedi Master who has ascended the ranks of the Jedi from a teenage prodigy, takes place in the High Republic, to a leader in the Order. She became one of the youngest Jedi Knights in a generation at age 15 and solidified her status as a prodigy when she took Imri Kantaros as a Padawan. This happened in her first book. With a purple-bladed lightsaber that she can change into a light whip, young Rowe led with unwavering faith in the Force and devotion to the Jedi Order. The other sentence gets into a spoiler. But anyways, Vernestra is going through it right now, basically in Phase 3, because something tragic happened at the end of Phase 1. But anyways,
how long does her species live for? Like, does she have like a normal lifespan?
Great point. I didn't know she had a long lifespan until they confirmed that she's in this series. So, species lifespans are always very much like whatever, hand wavy. So I guess they can live over 150 years at least.
So we're not going to see anybody from your main books in this show, probably, other than her.
Not at all. Yeah, unless
no Avar,
no Avar, no Ezra, no Elzar. Yeah, none of my favorite characters. But there are some Wookiee characters who we could see, like a Buri Yaga, who is a very famous Wookiee character, Buri, as he will call him. So I gotta head out soon. So let's go through this more. This is another character. This is another High Republic character. What's his name? This is Quimir. Quimir. Quimir is a former smuggler who now makes his living as a trader, procuring unusual things and enjoying a life of leisure. He probably found a Sith artifact or something like that. Okay, this is definitely a flashback. Look at Soul's hair on the left here. See that? It's totally different. Yeah. In the back behind him, who do you see? Kawanaka. Who's at up front? We see Trinity, who is Indara, and then other random Jedi in the back. So these three on the left. This is a flashback. This could be going along with something that happened in the past. I don't know who the people in black are in the back. Could be like I can't even guess. But anyways, they are wearing different mission attire. That brown stuff that I was talking about earlier, just like yellowish, gold, and brown attire. Again, this might be why something that happens down here could be why Kawanaka is so like living an isolated life now. Because something goes down in this scene or that sequence. Darkness rises.
But will light meet it?
Continued fight. Really cool. She's like, what are you doing? Like, come on. I changed your diapers.
You can't beat me. Who do you think you are? I am.
Interesting witch character. Her name is Mother Anissa, or Anisea, who is a leader of a coven of witches who value their independence and the preservation of their beliefs and powers. No idea what this is, but I do not believe, for one, that she is part of the witches of Dathomir, completely different race, completely different torture. Yeah. I do believe so.
I saw somebody had pointed out it looks like the marking that's on her head. I think May in some still has a similar marking under some wrappings under her hood.
I wonder if we passed it already. Let's see. Does she have it? No. There's a very close-up shot where you can clearly see the white.
It might be coming up, actually.
It might be coming up. This isn't about good or bad. I love this part. Hey, girl who says, I see fire. What is she running from right now? Fire. And she looks to be very young. I can't see the outfit there. But it could be Jedi robes, that yellow Jedi robes. I can't tell, or no, maybe not. I can't make any guesses. This is the icy planet. We're on a mission. It seems like Soul was in this one, I think, right?
Yeah, that's a money shot.
Soul with Yord in the back there, back right, investigating some kind of matter. This is about power. I love this. I love this. This might be a big theme of the show in terms of like power, that who holds the power. The Jedi as an institution are flawed, as Leslie Hidlin constantly talks about in her interviews. The Jedi are flawed. If the Star Wars is about the underdog versus the institution in terms of rebels versus the Empire, in this case, the underdogs might be the Acolyte, and the institution are going to be the Jedi.
The ones who fight corruption getting corrupted themselves.
Honestly, yeah, something along those lines. Corruption is going to be prevalent, good or bad. Those thin lines are going to be drawn here. Or
not even was that Octo?
Was that Octo? I don't think so. But this is a very interesting shot. Is this character the Acolyte? Is this character in the black silhouette? Are they a character that we've seen before, or are they going to be completely new?
Are they even there?
Are they even there? It could be a vision. Are they meeting May here? Is this before May goes on her like let me attack Jedi spree? It could be. You never really know.
Yeah.
Wait, by the way, do we see a marking on May's face there?
Maybe.
No, you can kind of see it, the white line right in the middle of her parting there. But yeah, believe us, guys, she does have a white marking on her head. Which could May have gotten kicked out of the order or left the order, then joined the witches? Or was she born within the witch's coven and then got taken as a youngling? Those are really the only two kind of options. Either she was born there, got taken away from them, and became a Jedi youngling, right? Got taken to the Jedi Temple because she was force sensitive. They took her.
Right.
But they didn't take her. You know, parents have to give them to the Jedi. Anyways, there's an interesting High Republic story. Long story short, two sisters. One gets brought into the Jedi Order. The other one gets left behind because she is force sensitive. But you know, for some reason or another, they didn't take her. They just took her little sister. And that character ends up to be very evil. And this is in High Republic Phase 2, by the way, if you're interested in that kind of storyline. But anyways, yeah, no. So we could be getting something here where she gets taken by a youngling and somebody from the witches is like very upset about that. Could they be related to her? You never really know. Let's see here. I'm trying to spin at the wall here. There's so many different theories. We see more with Yord and Yorn and Jecki here, who again is Daphne Keene. What is that? Comes flying out. Kylo Ren, Adam Driver is in the Acolyte. I'm kidding.
Let's go. Don't tease me.
So people have been looking at that. Like, is that a glove? Is that a hand? You can't really tell. It looks like a hand instead of a glove. But you can't really make it out. That guy looks really pissed on the right.
Yeah. Soul looks scared.
Soul, again, I can't tell what time period it is for Soul. He has longer hair, so it could be present day.
Yeah, I think it's present.
And of course, the big question is with this sequence as we end off the trailer here, how do the people all see a dark side user with a red lightsaber and don't talk about Sith? Is this breaking the canon? Oh, no, it's not. Of course, we have to wait for the show to really explain like this whole ordeal with the Acolyte, with like how these Jedi are able to see a Force user with a red lightsaber and not break the rule of two canon in that. Not break the rule of two, but in terms of breaking what the Phantom Menace has come to talk about in terms of like, we thought they were gone for a millennium, as Katie Mundy talks about, of course. This has been a lot of huge controversy over the past couple of weeks. But I just think it's come down to either Jedi hiding that knowledge, not talking about that knowledge, or this is by the way, guys, timeline, this is 100 years prior to the Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
Just think about what we know and don't know from 100 years ago today. Like, knowledge doesn't seep through naturally, right? To the victors, right? That kind of thing. But
Any
there's
game
been
of
a lot of.
telephone.
It's a game of telephone. 100 years, things can change. It's Star Wars. Not everything's super linear. It's like, oh, we saw this, so we must write it down. If they saw it and chose not to talk about it, and they all die off, Yoda is really the only one with that knowledge. And we know Yoda doesn't really hold a lot, or he does hold a lot of secrets. Hell, there's a Clone Wars episode where he learns about clones and about chips, but doesn't tell anybody. Right? I think it's like it might be a Netflix season or whatever, but he learns about like the corruption with the clones, about Sifo Dyas, all that kind of stuff. Does he say it to anybody before Attack of the Clones?
Yeah.
No. So it's like, why didn't he say that? Did it not cause conflict because he wasn't pretty confident? It was from an unreliable resource. Should he tell people about that? Probably not. Even in the High Republic, there are these creatures called the Nameless. Yoda knew about it, didn't talk about it. They came up again 150 years later in Phase 1, and now it's a problem. So it's like Jedi are known to be holding knowledge or forgetting or just refusing to believe knowledge. It's not out of the realm of possibility. We just have to wait and see how they talk about it. But believe me, guys, you're not smarter than the writers of this fucking show. You're not smarter than the writers. You're not smarter than the creators. If you think there's a plot hole, it's like the breaking canon. You haven't watched the show. You watched 1 minute and 36 seconds of a teaser trailer. Ooh, and Leslie Headland herself is saying there are things that are lying to you in this trailer. There are things that are not in the right order. There are things you have not seen anything yet, basically. Wait till you watch the show to come up with your own conclusions. I believe you, or believe me, the Lucasfilm Story Group knows what you're thinking. They thought the same thing. They probably answered it pretty concretely in season 1. If not season 1, then season 2, because there might be another season. I think there will be another season confirmed.
Yeah.
As far as we know, there's a rumor again that there's writers happening already for season 2.
Nice.
And if this is a success, then High Republic as a whole can get even more successful. As of right now, the High Republic multimedia book agenda is ending in 2025. By the end of 2025, phase 1, 2, and 3 will be completed. We're in phase 3 right now. So yeah, that's about it. I have to go. But yeah, this was I had really fun with this trailer in terms of like getting into what am I learning, what's true, what's fact, what's fiction. I cannot wait for the show. Again, I think it's going to be fantastic. Is it going to be on the level of Andor? Andor set a really surprisingly high bar for not just Star Wars television, but just television in general.
Yeah.
So I hope we can get to the bar of Andor. I have a lot of faith in Leslie and the writers and everybody involved in this process. So here's hoping that the show is great and we get a season 2 and people learn about the High Republic and read the High Republic. I just finished over break Escape from Valo, which is the first middle grade novel of wave 1 of phase 3. Sorry, that's a mouthful, but just read Escape from Valo. If you haven't read anything in the High Republic, I still think it's a good starting off point. But of course, it's phase 3, so I would welcome you to read at least phase 1 before reading this. It's phase 1, and then you get the prequel in phase 2, and then phase 3 continues the events of phase 1. Anyways, I read Escape from Valo. It is a great middle grade novel. Instantly jumped into one of my favorite High Republic books. It's romantic, it's sweet, it's tense, it's heartbreaking. Again, you don't really get to like these. It's about these young Jedi younglings. Their masters have died, and they have to like survive on this planet with the help of some other people. And these 2 kids who like really like each other, but one boy doesn't want to tell the other boy that he likes him, and it's really sweet. And it's like, what do I do? I love this guy, but also I want to be a Jedi Knight. But it's like the idea about attachment. Like, can I love somebody who's also a Jedi while still being a Jedi? And again, it's very sweet. It's
I burn for you like the Kyber in my hilt.
Exactly. He writes poetry all the time. But anyways, so yeah, that's me. Follow me on Twitter at HarrisEV9.
All right. Follow me at _TimeBuzz. I bring a show called Time Buzz with co-starring creative consultant Evan Harris.
Hell yeah, plain Ben.
Making sure I don't pick the wrong black hairstyles. All right. So that being said, if you guys enjoyed this, make sure you like, button, subscribe, and already ring the bell so you miss future Star Wars coverage. That being said, hope you have a great day. Catch you guys next time. May the force be with you always.
Peace out.